In this video, I'm going to show you how to defeat the Wall of Flesh. Before we begin, I just want to give a little disclaimer to you viewers, since this is a fairly large threshold in Terraria's main gameplay. Unlike all the other bosses, the Wall of Flesh takes a lot of prep work to be able to face with confidence, since its mechanics and attack patterns are drastically different from all the others. Not only that, but the way to summon the Wall of Flesh also requires a lot more time and commitment, and you can summon it less often, so you have to be sure you are well and ready before facing it. The summoning material for this boss is the Guide Voodoo Doll, which only drop from voodoo demons. Not only that, but voodoo demons are also fairly rare and can only be found in the underworld with all the other demons. However, once one spawns, they're very easy to tell apart since they carry a doll on their feet and don't have shackles like the Ark and regular demons. Another thing to be wary of is we need to drop the Guide Voodoo Doll into lava for the Wall of Flesh to spawn, and this will also kill your guide, so if you're looking for crafting recipes or help, make sure to do that before facing this boss. If you're having a hard time finding a voodoo demon, you can head into the dungeon and find blue torches, which will actually increase the spawn rate if you place them in the underworld. While this does not guarantee you will still find a voodoo demon, it'll at least speed up the process somewhat. For those of you who haven't watched my past videos or are extremely new to Terraria, I will link the entire playlist of me getting all the way up to this point in the description below. Setting aside the spawning materials, we're also going to need some hefty armor and some pretty good equipment to be able to face this boss. In the last video, I showed you how to create the Knight's Edge, which is the best sword you can get before entering hard mode. The armor I also recommend grabbing is the Molten set, which can be found at the same time as getting the Fiery Greatsword to craft the Knight's Edge, which again is in the last video that I made, and then I will link that entire playlist in the description below. But fortunately, we have something other than just melee weapons to rely on in this battle. The Star Cannon is one of the best ranged weapons in the game, period, and makes fighting this boss much easier. The first crafting component we are going to need is a mini shark, which you can get after you obtain the arms dealer. To acquire the arms dealer, all you need is one vacant house, a bullet in your inventory, or a bullet firing weapon. After enough time has passed, the arms dealer should eventually occupy one of your houses. And if we go ahead and look in his shop, you can see he sells the mini shark, which is one of the few components we need to craft the Star Cannon. Unfortunately, meteorites do not spawn naturally in the world, and you have to wait for them to fall at night after meeting a few prerequisite conditions. Those conditions are simply beating the Eater of Worlds or the Brain of Cthulhu and waiting till at least the next midnight for one to spawn. After that, there's a 50% chance each day that a meteorite will fall. You can see the aftermath of one falling right here on the map. Once you get to the crash site, there are two things to be wary of. First is that standing on the meteorite will set you on fire, so you're going to want to either have some obsidian equipment or an obsidian potion to begin mining it. You can mine it without any of this equipment, but you're more likely to die that way. Another thing you might notice are these meteorite heads, which will start to spawn once you get near the meteorite. They're very slow and easy to kill, but they can be annoying if they touch you. We need 20 whole ingots of meteorite for our crafting recipe, which is 60 ore if you want to get the exact amount. The last thing you need are 5 fallen stars, which are probably the easiest to obtain out of the 3 items. They simply just fall out of the sky at night times, so just be sure to run around a little bit until you get at least 5. They have a very common drop rate, so it shouldn't be hard to get that many and much more. I say much more because fallen stars are also used as our ammo for the Star Cannon, so make sure to farm as many as you can before fighting the Wall of Flesh. Once you gather all 3 of these materials, you can simply head over to a letter iron anvil, and the crafting recipe should be right here. And now with all of that out of the way, we can finally get to the actual boss fight. The Wall of Flesh is just as it sounds, a giant wall of flesh, and covers the entire world from top to bottom vertically. Not only that, but it will start moving into whatever direction it spawns, and will keep going until it either hits the edge of the world, or until the player dies. Because of this, having a few items like Hermes boots, Spectre boots, or even Lightning boots can be really helpful to be able to maintain your pace and not getting swept up within the wall itself. Another thing to be cautious of is that when you are within 900 blocks of the Wall of Flesh, you will gain a debuff that will not allow you to be able to use any sort of teleportation back to home. So you cannot just flee this fight. The only way to get out unscathed is to just leave the world and come back in, but the Wall of Flesh will also despawn. To determine which direction the Wall of Flesh will be coming from, you want to take a look at which side of the map you are on. Looking at the marginal center point of the map, if you are more towards the left, then it will be coming from left to right, and if you're like I am, on the very right side of the map, then it will be coming from right to left. One last thing I want to add before summoning the Wall of Flesh are its weak spots. The Wall of Flesh appears to be one giant wall with 3 separate heads sticking out of it, 2 being eyeballs and 1 being a mouth. These 3 parts are the only places the 8 can actually take damage, so make sure to aim here with your star cannon and even melee weapons. The eyes are also slightly weaker than the mouth, so make sure to aim there for maximum efficiency. Now, with all the preparation done, we can finally summon the Wall of Flesh by dropping him into lava. And there you go, the Wall of Flesh defeated. As the Wall of Flesh is defeated, you'll get this little text box pop up, and it will say the ancient spirits of light and dark have been released. And this will notify you that you are finally in hard mode. Not only that, but a little box will spawn after defeating him, which are his drops, and we'll go over what this does in the next video. In this video, I showed you how to defeat the Wall of Flesh, and in the next, I will show you how to get new ores in hard mode.